Hi there, welcome back. Well, in front of you can see two lots of two moulds. They're coaster moulds, quite deep. On the right hand side, I've got some I've already started, and obviously on the left hand side they're empty. So just use some leftover resin in the ones on the right. We're going to use these lovely shades of mica powders again, and obviously some white pigment too. Now, as I said, these two that I'm showing you now are just from leftover resin from the previous project. If you haven't seen that, then why not check that out in our playlist. We made some coasters using the resin and the wood. In this one, no wood, we're going to use the moulds and these lovely pieces of faux leather. Now, you may as well have seen as well our lovely wooden tray that we did recently, where we encased some of this faux leather, two different colours, this colour and the greeny colour, in a beautiful wooden tray. Why not check that out from our playlist? So without further ado, here we go. We've got some resin mixed up already, some Tea Expert resin, 1:1 mixing ratio, lovely and clear. Very easy to use, and we've got our three little silicone jugs here, mixing jugs, and all we're going to do is we're going to decant some of the clear resin into each of those jugs and then add some of the mica powder and the white pigment paste to them. So as I said, you've probably seen me do this before. If you have, then skip forward a little bit. If not, just sit back, relax, enjoy the video, watch what I'm doing. For some reason, this really irritated me that not all the spouts were going the same way. So, sorted that out. There we are, we're just decanting some of the resin into the first jug, and then we'll do it into the second and the third jug as well. So quite a straightforward process, very, very similar process to the previous video as well, when we did some beautiful wooden and resin coasters, edged them with some gold. You know me, love a bit of gold. No glitter in those though, but guess what? Glitter in these ones. Right, so this has just been sped up now, this bit. We're just adding the white pigment paste and some of this lovely lilac-y, mauvey, lavender, whatever colour you want to call it, mica powder in, and then some of this lovely green as well. Adding also a bit of the white pigment paste into those two coloured mica powder ones, because they're just a bit too vibrant on their own for me, for my taste and liking, and I didn't want them to overpower the lovely faux leather fabrics. So here we go, we're just adding them in any which way you want, randomly, whatever. What I would say is don't try and do what I call a dirty pour or a layered pour with these resin colours, because they just mix in and you'll end up with nothing really. No particular colour separation or anything like that. So, you know, we're just doing the put it all in, what's it? Chuck it all in method. I believe that's Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner that said that. But and then going in with some white and just continuing this process until you've filled up the bottom surface of the mould. Now, you're not looking to fill it up completely to the top. These are quite chunky moulds. They're quite deep. Although regular resin we found is absolutely fine. So there you go. I'm just pouring the clear resin over the top of this. You see the way it's encouraging the resin, the two colours of resin to mix together. Those patterns. So then just adding in a bit more of the coloured resin, because you know why not. Lovely green. What colour green would you call that though? I don't know what colour I'd call that, apart from golden delicious apple skin colour, if that makes sense. And if you know what kind of apple that is. So just going in with a stir stick now, once I was happy I'd got all the resin in there I wanted, giving a little squiggle and a swizzle, or swizzling and squiggling into there, make some lovely patterns. Of course, you know resin's not going to stay. It moves as it cures. Just spritz them with some isopropyl alcohol. And look, aren't they pretty? Really pretty. So you could stop there, have a couple of nice coasters. But this was, of course, 24 hours later. Now to apply the faux leather. I'm using some spray adhesive made by, you know, a certain gorilla. You can use whatever adhesive you feel happy using, but we thought we'd do with this rather than sort of UV resin or contact glue, just because I'd seen somebody else do it on their channel and I thought that looks pretty straightforward. So that one went in more or less okay. It needs a little bit of a fiddle, and I did have to lift it up and I wanted to replace it a bit because I remembered there was another couple of bits, or another piece or so that needed to go in. So just picked it up and moved it back again. Now, it goes tacky within a couple of minutes, so you do have to work quickly with this glue. But I really like that. Now, just pressing down with that silicone tipped tool, just pushing down on that faux leather onto the surface of the resin, making sure it's completely adhered to the surface of the resin. Now, if you've got any bits that you don't think have stuck down thoroughly, then just pull it up slightly, use a little like stir stick or a little micro brush, spray a little bit of the resin or apply a bit more of the adhesive that you've chosen to use to it, and then just press it down. So this is the other one again, of just manipulating and moving. It'll let you do it probably once, this kind of glue, but then after that, it's stuck. Right, so just had to snip off a bit there that I didn't want in it. Just using a little pair of scissors and then pressing it again down with the silicone tipped tool there. Another piece, trying to decide where to put that piece. Decisions. There we go. Now you could stop there. Obviously you need to apply a clear coat of resin over the top to encapsulate the faux leather. And then once it's cured, 24 hours later, you've got a lovely pair of coasters, or a lovely set of 4 coasters, depending on however many you've decided to make. So here's just a bit of a close-up look at it. Look at the detail in that leather. I love this leather. Absolutely love it. Right, so me being me, and if you've listened to most of our videos, you know that I quite like gold. I love these deco pens. Gonna make no excuses for it. All I did was decide I wanted to highlight some of the details in these embossed faux leather pieces that we'd cut out. Now this faux leather comes on a sheet, not a great big sheet, probably about a little bit bigger than A4, probably A3 sort of size, maybe A3 I think, yeah. And we've just cut out the pieces from it that we wanted. And these were also left over from the previous wooden tray project. Now, I've got the Deco Colour pen. I've got some of the paint out of it. And you just do that, just pressing down, because the nib disappears and then it releases, and then press down and then release. And you'll get like a little pool of the gold paint on your surface. Now, I'm doing this is just baking paper sheet or greaseproof baking parchment, because it doesn't soak into it, which is good with paint. And then dipping the end of this. Now this is a skewer, a wooden skewer, not with a particularly sharp end, but it's got a wooden skewer. And I'm dipping that in the gold paint and then just going over in the details that I want to highlight in this beautiful faux leather. There you go, there's a bit more of a close-up. So you can see the idea. Now you can put as much or as little or none at all of this as you want. You could also use different coloured pens if you wanted to. I've probably been a little bit too heavy-handed with these, but I wasn't sure how well it was going to show up after we'd done the next process. So once it's completely dried and that lovely gold pen is completely dried, as you can see here, it's time to pour in the layer of resin all the way up to the top that is going to encapsulate the faux leather. So I've got some multi-expert resin mixed up. Again, it's a 1-to-1 mixing ratio. And as usual, everything that we've used in today's video, wherever possible, will be linked in the description box for you. Added in some of that lovely white iridescent glitter. I just love the effect this glitter has. It's very forgiving. It also helps to hide any little bubbles that might appear in the resin once it's cured. Obviously, it's not going to help you with any bubbles that are on the surface, where you end up with little pit holes, but any still within it, under the surface, then to be honest, they're not really going to show up if they're tiny micro bubbles, because of course you've got the glitter, so it sort of disguises it. So there we go, we're just carefully pouring it in up to the level. There we go. And then we're going to put it to one side to completely cure. So this is a full 24 hours later. And off to the right hand side there, you've got some little bonus bits that I did as well with the leftover resin I had. So let's demold the bonus ones first. Now you may have seen these fish before in a video that I did on Instagram, a live one. If not, head on over to Instagram, check that out. You actually get to see me rather than just my hands. But yeah, a bit nervous doing that video because it was the first one I'd ever done. But there we go. So just demoulding this beautiful bear. Now these moulds are a bit old and could probably do with being replaced. But look at him. So cute. Little bit of finishing up there to do around the edges. Now this is a lovely, I think these are supposed to be, I don't know if they're guppy fish or not. I'm not completely certain. We've got some overpour to deal with there, but look at that. That's compared with an opaque resin one that I showed you in the Instagram video. And here's the other small one. These moulds are lovely. They're from Amazon. Look at that. Beautiful. Really, really like those. And here we go again. Hopefully better luck this time, because the first time I used this mould, I actually got a little air bubble right at the tip of one of the tail, one of the tail parts there. So I'm hoping this time around we haven't got any little pesky air bubbles. And these were just dusted with the mica powders that I showed you earlier in the video that we've used. Look at that. Very much more the metallic finish rather than an opaque flat finish. Look at that. Still slightly bendy at this point, the tail. So I mean, if you did want to bend it up and then support it just to give it a bit more of a 3D effect, then by all means do. Now, this is me struggling with the skull. Really struggling. Really, really struggling. Again, these skull moulds that we've got, because we've used them and used them and used them, they all probably could do with being replaced. But eventually getting there. There we go. And there he is. Green with little hints of purpley pink colours. Really good. And here's the other one that I did the other day. Now on to the demould of these coasters. We have got some finishing up work to do, which I didn't film. All I did really was go around the top surface there of the coasters with an emery board or nail file, very fine, and just take off that sharp edge just very carefully. But look at this effect. Oh, these are stunning. So the pinky purpley green colour on the base, the glitter, oh look at those on the other side, nice. So actually these could be two-sided, couldn't they? And then the gold highlighting on the foliage and the flowers there. We've got a couple of little bubbles. I don't know yet whether or not I'm going to bother to try and repair those, because they are tiny surface ones. I might just sell them as is, but look at those. And look, there you go on the other side. I think they look beautiful. Our camera lighting probably isn't doing them justice here, but yeah, look, we go. We're going to take off that sharp edge just with a bit of sandpaper and emery board, and then there we go. Look at them. Lovely, really like those. If you joined us for today, thank you for joining us. Thanks for watching, liking, sharing and subscribing, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. Sorry this is a bit dark on the end shot here. We need to sort out some new lights or buy some lights, but look at that glitter. Wow. Hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you again in a few days' time. Take care. Bye-bye.